one of my teammates, actually was my quarterback in that league, introduced me to a drug called cocaine. And basically, this guy started me on a cocaine addiction that took me basically 84 or 85, 2 years. And when I later looked at it later on in life and broke it down, it was about $1,000 a day habit I had that was free. And I used to feel guilty because he would always buy it, so I was making decent money, I thought, you know. I was 23 years old, making $10,000 a week. I was like, man, let me pay for some of that. And it offended him. He said, put your little money up till it grows up. I got offended. I'm like, man, I make plenty of money. So I pulled out a little 4 or 5 grand. He goes, what you make, about 7 grand a week? I was like, no, I make 10. And after taxes, I bring home 8,500. Man, I got money. He said, well, I make 30 grand a week, so if I suggest some, agree or disagree, don't mention money to me. Put your money up until it grow up, like I said. Okay. So we went on this 2-year deal. First year was Washington Federals. Owners, we was terrible, by the way. My team was so bad. I mean, my college team would have smoked my pro team. But we lost a lot of games, so the owners sold us. We became the Orlando Renegades my second year. Well, in my second year, same thing. Sorry team, a lot of drugs. League folded. Well, after the league folded, I went back to Texas, and I was doing what I do, which was getting high all the time. That's all I wanted to do. And especially now, I got an excuse. I'm unemployed, but I got a ton of money. My mother, baby, some man called here today from the Atlanta Hawks. I said, Mama, that's a basketball team. I don't play basketball. I said, maybe the Falcons? The Falcons, that's who it is. And he left this number, he wants you to call. So I called him, and the Atlanta Falcons offered me a 2-year contract. So I signed with the Atlanta Falcons. Went down there. Everything was good until after practice, I realized I wanted to get high again, and I didn't know why. But anyways, I did what a genius would do. I got in my car and drove down to the roughest neighborhood I could find and go, yo, where it at? What you looking for, man? Looking for cocaine. Naturally, I found it. Well, after about a week or 2 of doing this, $1,000 a day, cocaine told me, you know what, Ricky? This football is getting in the way of your youth. So being the genius I am, I walked into Dan Hennon, at the time was the head coach. I walked into his office and I retired from the NFL to become a full-time drug addict. And I went from the NFL to smoking cocaine full-time. I ended up going to prison 4 times, like I said earlier. And I also, along the way, I fitted in 10 treatment centers, which I graduated 9 of them. Couldn't figure it out, man. Life just kind of went to, you know what, working on my language. But anyway, I was in prison this last time, and I got a letter from Coach Osborne. And I didn't even think he knew I was there. I was gonna tell him, but I was gonna wait till I got out, you know. But anyways, he found out, because he does. If y'all ever heard that rumor about he be following his former players, he do. He really do, because I was locked up and this letter come on the door with a big red N on it. And I opened it up and it was a little brief, it was only about a paragraph. It was like, Ricky, I knew your parents believed in you and I believe in you. And upon your release, if there's anything I can do to help you, you feel free to contact me. Tom Osborne. That made me think. Then I got out and I went sawing. And I was telling him all my plans and stuff, and he just listened. And something happened where I lost, no, they laid off. The economy went bad. They laid off everybody on the second shift at this place where I was working. But I was still on parole. And my parole officer, I had one of those unique parole officers that she seemed like she didn't have no other client but me. I mean, every time I look around, she would be at my front door. And I was like, yes, can I help you? Well, have you got a job yet? No. Have you watched the news? There's a lot of people that are not getting jobs. And they sure don't want to hire a person with a criminal record like mine. Well, if you don't get another job soon, I'm going to send you back. Oh, that did it. I lost it. So I relapsed. And I went out and got high. And while I'm getting high, she called me. Mickey? I'm like, yes. She says, I need you to come take a UA. I'm like, I'm not coming today. She says, well, I need you here tomorrow by noon. And I went the next day, and I failed a UA, thinking it was my first one. They would not do nothing. Well, she violated me and sent me back to prison. But the last time I was in there, it hit me. My parents are in heaven. Coach Osborne is probably the closest thing I got to a family, a father figure. And I'm letting him down. I've got a son that is 22 now. He just graduated last month from UNO as a basketball player. By the way, he just signed with I think he's getting ready to go play professional basketball in Canada or somewhere, but real proud of my son. But I was letting everybody down. So I was in my cell and I got to thinking, man, I'm like, I'm better than this. And I don't know how to explain this part right here. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I fell on my knees and I asked God to take my will, the genius that I think I am, take my will, throw it in the trash can and do your will in my life.